Hi, everybody. This is Larana and Tesley, and it's time for Rose Garden Radio live from the very center of the universe, Canton, Ohio. Yay. Okay. Well, I hope you're having a great Sunday. I have had a fantastic one, and I'm going to read a little bit for you today. But and I really appreciate, I love when people are here during this for the show and we can say hi together. But I'm going to read a little bit today, and I made a commitment to myself to get this book finished, and I am going to do it. And I'm on that deep dive edit. I've been working on the stuff I've read before. But anyways, this Thursday, now, it might be 11, 12 o'clock at night, but I am going to read the entire book from start to finish live on my Larana Day channel and my personal Facebook. And if anybody's up and wants to join me, feel free. But I just made that commitment to get that last push and to get it done and get on with the next phase, which is publishing. So last week we had Aunt Larana and my niece were with Marie Antoinette in her apartments, and they had just been a rap on the door, and they were all escorted out. So here we are now. We were escorted back into the foyer just as Benjamin Franklin was being placed into the lineup for the grand procession. He noticed us immediately. "Oh, no, you two. You're not getting off that easy," he said with an ornery grin as we tried to pass by unnoticed. "Ben, no," Aunt Larana exclaimed, already sensing his plan. "Yes, you two will escort me to the king and queen. I will have one of you on each arm, just like the wings of an angel," he said, grinning from ear to ear. "It will be my favorite memory of this milestone evening for the United States of America," Benjamin said more seriously. Aunt Larana looked at me and shook her head in mock defeat. "How can we refuse that heartfelt request?" she said, as Benjamin took her arm. Let me write that "as" in there. As he hooked his other arm into mine, the music started, and before I knew it, we were off. We walked the profession in our triplet format as Ambassador Benjamin Franklin nodded and smiled at people on both sides of the aisle. I could tell he was genuinely liked here. After all the formalities were over, the dancing began. I found myself staying back towards the wall, out of view, as I watched my Aunt Larana being continuously twirled around the dance floor. I soaked up every detail of my surroundings. I was thinking that I couldn't wait to research this time in history when I heard a voice. "Voulez-vous danser?" I realized the voice was speaking to me, and when I turned in its direction, I was surprised to see a young man with kind eyes. "Non, monsieur. I appreciate the offer, but I really don't know how to dance," I said, having intuited his question, not knowing if he would understand my response. He immediately responded back to me in my native tongue. "Nonsense. There is always a time to learn," he said, grasping my hand and moving me onto the ballroom floor before I could protest. I didn't want to draw any attention to myself, so I just relaxed and surrendered to his lead while he moved and twirled us around the ballroom floor. "You must either be a natural dancer or you were misleading me," my partner said, smiling down. Okay, smiling down at me. I need to tweak that a little. I have not seen you in court, he continued as we moved around the floor. May I have... Oops, frozen here. Okay. I have not seen you in court, he continued as we moved around the floor. May I have your name? Ami Hill, monsieur. I am the Marquis de Lafayette, but please call me Gilbert, he told me, slightly bowing. Ami Hill, I can tell you are not from here, but I cannot place your dialect. Thank you for the dance, Gilbert, I said in a diversion tactic as the dance ended, planning to go back to my wall. I felt it was best not to interact too much with anyone since I really didn't belong here. Typically, when a man asks you to dance, Mademoiselle Hill, they expect or hope to be your partner for the evening, or at least a set. Oh, shoot. Let's see. Typically, when a man asks you to dance, Mademoiselle Hill, they expect or hope to be your partner for the evening, or at least a set, Gilbert said, rolling his head back in laughter. You're keeping me on my toes, throwing all protocol out the window. I like it, he grinned as he whirled me into his arms for another dance. When the music finally ended, we naturally moved out onto the grand terrace. I spied Aunt Larana surrounded by a small group of distinguished-looking diplomats and excused myself from Marquis Lafayette. I'll have to research him when I get back, I told myself. As I approached my aunt, the maitre d'hotel approached at the same time to escort us to our table. It was there, over our meal, which was 12 courses, I have to tell you, that we were able to have Benjamin Franklin all to ourselves. It was there, over our meal. Oh, wait, that was it. It seems like you two keep popping into my life out of nowhere, Benjamin said, smiling at us mischievously. Oh, no, Mr. Franklin. My Aunt Larana lives in the center of the universe, Canton, Ohio. And I live in Columbus, I said quite seriously, while my aunt laughed hysterically. It seems a lot has happened since your kite flying days, Benjamin. Ambassador to France. Not too shabby, my aunt said, beaming at him with pure happiness. Yes, I must admit I've been on an interesting journey since we were last together. I love the relaxed lifestyle here in France and the food, wine, and people too, of course, he said as he took a bite of pâté. After washing it down with a sip of champagne, he leaned in closer. Now, we need to get down to some business. I think I'll leave it there. And if I don't see you late Thursday night, I will see you next Sunday and we'll be continuing on. Okay, I love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy yourself. And I'll be here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday next week. So if you're around, do stop in. Good night.